Hi everyone, this is Jules from Veggies Grow, and today we're going to talk about one of the most important decisions you'll make when starting a vegetable garden. That is, where to locate it. So maybe you're thinking, oh, I just have a small backyard, I just have space to grow on my balcony, I just have space on a rooftop. So why should I think about the ideal location when I just have one location? But while we get through the different features that are important, you'll understand that choosing the most optimal location from the space that you have can greatly influence the success of your vegetable garden. So let's see one by one how that is. So, the most important requirement for a successful vegetable garden is to make sure that it gets enough of sunlight. So here, practically, maybe if you just have a backyard, it's important to see the different areas. Maybe some areas get a little less sunlight because there is a fence shading it. Maybe there is the shadow of your house falling on a specific area. So, ideally, you need a place that gets at least 6 to 8 hours of sun, and this is a must if you are going to be growing fruiting vegetables like tomatoes, bell peppers, and sweet corn. But if you only have places that get 4 to 6 hours of sunlight, you can still grow root vegetables like carrots, onions, garlic, ginger. And if you don't have that and just have places that get 2 to 4 hours of sun, then you'll have to stick to growing leafy greens like lettuce or spinach that are more shade tolerant. And next up is soil health. Healthy soil is alive with earthworms and other beneficial creatures, and you'll often see roots from plants that have previously grown in it. And healthy soil can also absorb water easily rather than letting it pool up on the top. So, if you have healthy soil, you can plant directly in the ground. And if you don't, that is also not a problem. You can grow your vegetables in raised beds or containers. This helps because you can add potting soil, compost, and other soil amendments into the raised beds or containers to fill them up. And instead of using your garden soil, and just a side note for containers, you should never use garden soil because it compacts too much. And by using these other mediums, you can give your plants the nutrients and the stability that they need, even if you don't have healthy soil. The next factor that we have to consider is drainage. You should locate your vegetable garden in an area where water will naturally flow away from your vegetable garden and not collect or stagnate in it, because almost all vegetables don't like and won't grow in areas that have a lot of stagnant water. They all like well draining soil. So you can ideally look for a spot with a slight slope or create one if you need it to encourage proper water runoff. And the next aspect to consider is to think about convenience. Your garden should be easy to reach, especially if you're a busy person who has a lot on their plate. And you can place your vegetable garden just outside your back door or in a spot that's close enough and a spot that you access every day so that you can quickly visit and check your plants at least once a day. So, on this note, when I used to work full time in the office, even though I had enough of space to plant vegetables on the ground and healthy soil, I chose to grow vegetables in containers on my balcony. So, although this was a little bit more expensive and I could grow fewer numbers of vegetable plants, it made more sense because I used to get home late and it was so much easier for me to step into my balcony and have a quick check on my plants every day. And if they were in the front yard, I probably wouldn't have been able to check on them every day. It would have been just during the weekends. And that easy access made a big difference in being able to find issues like pests and other diseases and treat them as soon as I found the issue. So, finally, another aspect that you need to consider is what would be your source of water, because vegetable plants need a lot of water. And when the climate is cooler and your plants are smaller, a watering can would be more than enough. But once it gets warmer and your plants have grown larger and they're starting to produce fruit, especially if you're growing fruiting vegetables, you have to make sure that they get enough of watering. Sometimes tomatoes, you'll have to water them twice a day. So in that case, it's important to make sure that there is a tap nearby that you can connect maybe a water hose to. That will help you keep your vegetable plants well watered throughout the warm season. So it's a good idea to plan your watering setup much before you commit to a garden location. So to sum things up, when choosing where to place your vegetable garden, you should keep in mind your plant's sunlight needs, the soil health, drainage, accessibility, and what your water source would be. So thanks for joining me today, and I hope that this helps you choose the perfect spot to grow your own veggies.